What's going on, everyone? I am just a typical, average American here today to react to this video called Why Does Belgium Exist? So, to be honest, like most Americans, I don't know anything about Belgium. I mean, I've heard the name before, but that's about it. So today, I want to check out this video by History Matters, because that's true. History does matter. And I feel like this is something that we just completely missed in our U.S. education here. So let's take a look at this and learn about Belgium for the first time.
Belgium. It's a country which often has to justify its own existence. Sandwiched between France, Germany and the Netherlands, its population is divided amongst those who speak, well, French, German and Dutch.
Oh, real? Is this a thing? Is this, because that's like, I've never really heard of a country described in that way, like having to justify its existence. Like, really? Is that something that people think about Belgium? And I certainly didn't know about this language. Like, in Belgium, it's literally geographically split between speaking what languages?
Netherlands, its population is divided amongst those who speak, well, French, German and Dutch.
French, German, and Dutch. So it's not like... I've actually never heard of that before. I was about to say, so what's the main language of Belgium? Like, what's the language? It's actually, is it split evenly between three? Or more so like two of them? And then, how does that work? I am so confused. I've never heard of anything quite like this.
Since about 6 seconds after its foundation, other nations have often spoke of dividing Belgium up. So given how often its existence has both been questioned and threatened, there's an obvious question to answer. Why does Belgium exist? The first thing to answer...
Why does Belgium... I gotta say, like I said at the beginning, I've heard the name of this country before, Belgium. But I don't know anything about it, and I certainly didn't know. This is very strange to me. Maybe if you're like European, or if you know more about this stuff, this is like, oh yeah, Belgium, 3 languages, people debating over whether it should be separated into different countries. What?
The first thing to answer is how Belgium came into existence in the first place.
Okay.
After the Napoleonic Wars, Europe was a drastically changed continent, and one of the major changes that occurred was that the Austrian Netherlands was incorporated into the brand new United Kingdom of the Netherlands. King William I of the Netherlands was a Protestant who had little interest in preserving the rights of the South's Catholic residents. He used much of the South's industrialised economy to fund the North, and he was also a bit of a despot. This was obviously a problem, and in 1830, when riots broke out, talk soon turned to secession. William tried to...
We're around like Napoleonic Wars, and basically this is kind of instigated by bad leadership, people being unhappy with the leadership. Okay.
William tried to crush the revolt, but many troops in the south quickly defected. William needed help, and so he asked the Great Powers for assistance. And the Great Powers did help, but they helped the south and recognised the new country's independence, and the new country was called Belgium.
So this was like a revolution, like a part of this country just wanting to like become independent, and a bunch of other countries came in and kind of helped with. Very interesting. It seems like kind of a complicated situation, to be completely honest, but... And then there's Belgium as a result, okay?
Independence was done on one condition. It had to be a monarchy, because none of that republicanism stuff, absolutely not. The Belgians would
Okay.
finally have a king that would represent them, a local, a Catholic, and a man who wouldn't try to expand the power of the monarchy and become a despot.
Okay.
Instead, they got Leopold I, a German-speaking Protestant who quickly expanded the power of the monarchy, but 0 out of 3 isn't bad.
Okay, obviously this is like meant to be kind of funny, but also at the same time, like, that's the actual facts of the history, right? They wanted to become their own independent nation and succeeded, and then they were trying to set up like the government or the leadership of their new country, Belgium, and somehow it ended up like terrible.
Even with Leopold, Belgium had come out ahead, given that at the London Conference France had proposed that Belgium be divided between its neighbours. This was the Talleyrand plan and was rejected by the British because France can't have nice things had been British foreign policy for over 400 years at this point, and that wasn't
Okay.
going to change anytime soon.
Is it mostly because Belgium is like, it's obviously a very complicated history and country, and I could see with the language split. That to me, like, would be the number one reason why Belgium would, like, you could argue it could split into different countries or whatever. I hope they talk a little bit more about that, the language thing.
Also to Britain, Belgium was seen as an important buffer state that would limit the scale of any future Franco-Prussian war, in theory. William I didn't accept Belgian independence and so invaded in 1831, but the French came to the Belgians' aid and sent the Dutch packing. In
Oh my
1839, William
god.
accepted Belgian independence and the Netherlands would never again try to reclaim the south, which
Oh my god, Belgium has really had to, like, fight and struggle for its existence. I had no idea. This is like the underdog country of Europe, or at least the one I didn't know about. The Netherlands trying to take them over, a bunch of countries questioning if it should even exist, and this is kind of miraculous to me.
now included this land from Luxembourg. And it was also in this year that Britain guaranteed Belgian neutrality. Immediately after Belgium's formation, tensions arose between the Dutch-speaking population in the north, the Flemish, and the French-speaking southerners, the Walloons, whose language was the official language of the state.
Okay, hold on. This is kind of what I've been waiting for to clarify this part. I have heard that word before. Flemish. Never had any clue what that meant. I've just heard that before. It has to do with Belgium, and it's northern Belgium and they speak what language?
The French-speaking southerners, the
No, not the French.
Tensions arose between the Dutch-speaking population in the north,
The Dutch speaking in the north are the Flemish.
the Flemish, and the French-speaking southerners, the Walloons, whose
Dutch in the north and the French speaking in the south. Okay.
and the French-speaking southerners, the Walloons,
The Walloons. Never heard of that before in my life.
whose language was the official language of the state.
The official language. So Belgium has an official language, and it's French, even though it's like 50-50, or is it majority French? I don't know.
The initial hope was to get northerners over time to speak French, but fun fact, no.
Oh, that's very difficult, I would imagine. I mean, they just said it didn't happen. It didn't end up happening. That's like, I would imagine that's extremely difficult to try to get an entire group of people, half of a country, to like give up their native language, to give up Dutch, and for one thing, agree to give up their language and therefore a huge part of their heritage and culture, and then also learn French and teach their children French, and I can see why that didn't work.
Tensions between the two groups would rise, but the threat to dissolve Belgium never went anywhere since both peoples largely saw unity within Belgium as better than the alternatives.
Oh, wow. So this really could have been two different countries, just by the sound of it. Didn't they say there was 3 languages spoken in Belgium, or... Anyway, this really could have been 2 different countries. Now I understand. But ultimately, it's up to the will of the people of Belgium. And the alternative was worse, so they just get along as well as you can. So to this day, Belgium has like 2 or 3 native languages to this day. Is that right?
So what about any future threats? Finding out why Belgium exists in the first place isn't the same as asking why it still exists. And the fledgling nation wasn't without its concerns. French and German leaders coveted parts of Belgium in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, but the British guarantee and the fear of upsetting the balance of power stopped any action. It wasn't until World War I that the second tangible threat to Belgium's existence occurred when German troops crossed into the country in order to get to France.
Oh, wow, there's been a lot of threats to Belgium. And a lot of countries also coming to the defense of Belgium. I think they said like the UK.
Germany occupied most of the country, and after the war, the plan was for these areas to be annexed into Germany, and these areas would become a rump state under a new monarchy.
What?
Towards the end of the war, Germany made a concession on these demands and would respect Belgian independence so long as it was split into two nations, the northern Flemish one being aligned with Germany, who would gain Antwerp. This never happened because, obviously, and Germany eventually lost the war. Belgium.
Oh my God. Well, I'm sure many things would be different if World War II went like a different way. But yeah, that's pretty crazy for the existence of Belgium.
Then got to sit at the winners' table and was even given this territory from Germany. Although at first Belgium had made much larger demands, because it wanted to annex Luxembourg and to take territory from the neutral Dutch, since apparently Belgium holds a grudge. The last threat to Belgian existence came during World War II when it was conquered. It was originally administered as a...
Oh, was that World War One that we're talking about there? I think it was World War One. Excuse me, that was World War One. Its existence was threatened by Germany and again in World War II.
single unit along with a chunk of northern France, but Hitler had very little in the way of concrete plans. The Belgian collaborators had hoped for Belgium to be split like this, with Flanders being merged with the Netherlands. Yet Germany was unwilling and unable to do this since it was busy losing the war. In late 1944, Germany then formally annexed Belgium, a plan which had one snag: it had already been liberated, and so that's not how that works. No other nation would threaten Belgian existence thereafter, and all attempts to split the state would from then on be internal in nature. Belgium's existence is actually quite remarkable, given that it spent one of the most dangerous periods in European history sandwiched between two nations that really liked annexing things.
Exactly. Oh my God. That must be, I didn't know anything about this history at all. It must be, it's kind of cool. Like if you're in Belgium, like, and this is your history. I don't know if this is like disturbing or kind of like cool. We managed to like make it despite all this adversity.
In the end, the Belgian people would find union together, despite their differences, much more compelling than any of the alternatives, and that is why Belgium exists. I hope you enjoy.
Okay, that's and to be honest, that's kind of a funny way to put it. Like the existence of this country. I don't know if that's a fair way to put it, or if the people of Belgium would agree, but like they keep saying, yeah, Belgium's kind of like this kind of odd combination of cultures and different areas that wanted independence, and the creation of Belgium as it is to this day is kind of like it's not perfect, but everyone agrees it's just like better than any alternative, basically. So that's interesting way to put it. Yeah, this was pretty fascinating. I really had no idea. This is not anything even remotely that we learn about in history class in the United States, like this kind of stuff. So that's fascinating. This is a part of like European history, Belgium history. Really complicated, very interesting. I get it a lot more now. So anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on Belgium and its really insane history and existence. And that'd be cool to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.